What if every agent that you help to join your brokerage put money into your pocket as they grew their career? Not just a one-time referral fee or a bonus, but it's a recurring payment that keeps paying as long as they are at the company. That's exactly what Real's revenue share program does. And today I'm breaking down exactly how it works. If you're considering Real as your brokerage, you're in the right place. I'm Katie Day, and I've been with Real since 2021. In that time, I've watched the company grow from 2,000 agents up to over 30,000. So I've seen firsthand what's worked, what's changed, and what that actually means for you as an agent. And so today we're going to break down revenue share. So let's dig in. So first off, I just want to kind of talk about revenue share, what it is and why it works and why we do it. So a lot of brokerages do traditional marketing campaigns and have budgets for things like commercials and newspaper ads and things on TV and billboards and stuff like that. And so Real, instead of allocating money towards paying ad agencies or billboards, they pay out or allocate that money out to paying agents revenue share. And so I like that because it focuses in on organic growth. It focuses in on paying agents that know great agents. And one of the things too that I really like about Real's revenue share program and our attraction is that it's actually explicit in our ICA that you can't hire VAs to do cold calls and send texts on behalf of you to bring over people you don't know, or take your MLS email list and email everyone to be like, hey, come join Real, and do stuff like that. It really wants us to focus in on talking to and attracting agents that we know and bringing over great agents. So one of the things that I want to talk about too before we get started is the payout. Right. And so we do have an industry leading payout. Most of the other cloud brokerages have capped the amount of revenue share that they pay out to their agents at 50% a month. And so basically what that means is if they had $1 million come in, they would take 500K of that, pay that out in revenue share, and 500K of that, pay that to, run the company. And so Real has actually capped ours at 60%. And so they pay out 60% of the revenue to their agents, to us, and they take 40% to run the company and operations and everything like that. And so we pay out a higher percentage of our revenue back to agents. It's more than any of the other companies out there. And what that means to you as an agent is basically two things. One, you're making more money, which is always great. But two, we are focused on growing the company sustainably, and we're running the company on about 40% of revenue, and paying out the other agents is a good thing to you as a shareholder. And so we get stock when we sell, when we cap, when we attract agents, we get stock through, the elite agent program, stock purchase program, things like that. So like agents are a shareholder. It's like as a shareholder of the company, you want to make sure that the company is being run sustainably. And, that's important. So that's kind of the two-part thing as to why I like to touch on that, to make sure that you're aware of that, because every company out there has some sort of cap on the amount that they pay out of revenue. And so I just want to be kind of upfront about that. The other thing that I like about revenue share and the idea of revenue share is that there's mutual benefit. And so when you choose a sponsor, you get the contribution that they have to like our One Real community. You also get the support from them for your business. So no matter what you're looking to build or grow, like they either can help you directly or connect you with people to do so. And so that's what I really love about our community. And they're, as a sponsor, you're financially incentivized to help the people that are with you to grow their businesses, because obviously like the more capping agents we have, the more people that are hitting the agent status, that's great. But like you want productive agents with you. And then two, like obviously if your agents bring on agents, like then they're also making money. And so that's great. So I want to support you and your business. But then like as a sponsor, you also like having people with you, like you want to make sure that they're succeeding, as I said. But then like by naming a sponsor, you have someone to connect you with like your state brokers and other agents in the local area that you're joining. And so it's definitely a mutual benefit, to have a sponsor when you join a cloud-based company like Real or any of the other cloud-based companies out there. So let's break down revenue share. I'm going to share this deck here, and it has kind of all of the info. We're going to break this down and share kind of what it means for you. So first off, what we're going to talk about is a 5-tier structure. Okay. And so the way that works is there's 5 levels of revenue share. Tier 1 agents are ones that are directly sponsored with you. So tier 1 agents are ones that directly sign up and name you as their sponsor. Okay. And so tier 1 are directly with you. Basically what that means is they sign up, they name you as sponsor on their ICA. You make 5% of their commission until they cap. And so that's up to $4,000 per year. Okay. And so again, those are people that sign up directly with you as sponsor, and you can make up to $4,000 on each $12,000 capping agent. Okay. Then you have tier 2 agents. And so these agents are sponsored by your tier 1 agents. So you have tier 1 and then tier 2. Your tier 2 agents, you can make 4% on any of their transactions until they cap, and that's up to $3,200 a year. Okay. As we continue down this chart, tier 3 agents are agents that are sponsored by your tier 2 agents. You make 3% of their GCI, and that's up to $2,400 a year. Next up, after 3, we've got tier 4 agents. So tier 4 agents, you make 2% of their GCI, and that can be up to $1,600 each year. And then finally, after 4, we've got tier 5. And so tier 5, you make 1%, and that is up to $800 per year. And so the way that this works is, if you have a tier 1 agent that signs up directly with you, they have a $10,000 commission that they get paid, right? It's a $10,000 gross commission check. If they just joined the company, they're in an 85-15 split. They get $8,500. Real gets $1,500. And so then of that $1,500, they're paying out revenue share. And so if you take $10,000 times 0.05, that's $500. That would be your gross amount of potential revenue share for that agent. And I say gross because there are some fees that we'll get into a little bit later, but that's just kind of how that works with the tiers. So we got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. That's kind of the baseline starting point there. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the focus on production. So in order to be eligible to collect revenue share or to be considered a producing agent here at Real, you must both you and then the agents in your group need to pay Real at least $450 in company dollar every 6 months. And so what that means is basically like a $3,000 gross commission at least every 6 months. So even if you're not in like active production, like referrals, or if you're a team lead, things like that count. But you have to make at least $3,000 in gross commission, because then if you take 15% of $3,000, that's $450. And basically you have to remain in production every 6 months. And so there is a 6-month grace period when you first join the company, but then like once 6 months hits, you need to have sold at least $3,000 in gross commission. So the next thing that I want to talk about is unlocking tiers. So I mentioned the producing agents, right? And so in order to collect revenue share, you have to have the company dollar, but then you need to have producing agents in your revenue share network in order to continue to collect revenue share. So I'm going to switch colors here. I'm going to highlight these in yellow. So tier 1 is automatically unlocked. As soon as you join Real and as soon as you bring anyone over, your tier 1 is automatically unlocked. So if it's like you and then you have 5 team members, great. All of those team members that are in your tier 1, you're automatically unlocked. Okay. Tier 2 over here in the second column, tier 2 gets unlocked once you have at least 5 agents in your tier 1. So you have 5 agents that sign up directly with you. They're all producing and active agents. Now you collect not only on tier 1, but also on tier 2. Okay. As you unlock more tiers, basically as you bring on more producing agents in your tier 1, it unlocks more tiers. So once you bring on at least 15 agents, that unlocks tiers 2 and 3. Once you bring on 20 agents, that'll unlock tier 4. And then the goal is to have at least 25 producing agents in your tier 1, because then you'll have tiers 2, 3, 4, and 5 unlocked. Because again, tier 1 is already unlocked initially, and then adding in, the 5, 15, 20, and 25 unlocks tiers 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So up next, what I want to talk about is co-sponsoring. All right. So obviously what we are talking about right now is when you name one sponsor, but you can also name 2 sponsors when you join the company. And so it's pretty straightforward. You can put 2 different people's names on your ICA when you sign up, and then the revenue that you generate is evenly split between your 2 sponsors. I think that this is a great opportunity if you know multiple people at the company. Like almost every single person that I talk to at Real knows someone either in their local market or someone from their former office or a friend from a coaching program or someone they follow on social media, but also like people locally. And so I think that this is a really good opportunity to create connection between far more people, right? Like if you can only name one sponsor, then you have like one person that you're financially aligned with and their upline and everything like that. But like if you name 2 people and like say one's in your hometown and then one is someone else, it like creates more connection. And I think it's a really good opportunity to be able to, have more connection with more people. I think too that like support doesn't have to come from just one place. Name two people who've helped guide your journey. Oftentimes people will name co-sponsors that maybe they don't know or anything like that. And I think that like if people have helped to shape your business and helped to add value to you and to your life, like those are the people that you should consider naming as sponsor as you are joining the company. Okay. And so I love it because it broadens your network. It helps everyone to grow. And it's a really great opportunity. And if you're someone who's interested in attraction, I think it's something that's also important to point out. It helps to open up more tiers. And so like if you grow a large group here at Real, you can co-sponsor someone with like a tier 3 or 4 or 5 agent. And like they'd be half in your lower tier, right? And then also half in your tier 1. So if I was co-sponsoring someone and it was me and then someone that's in my tier 5, like if they just signed up with someone in my tier 5, they wouldn't even be in my network, right? Because they'd be in my tier 6 if they signed up with a tier 5 agent. But like by co-sponsoring with me and my tier 5 agent, like now that allows me to still help them and benefit financially and offer more support. And so if you're growing a large group at Real or you're very interested in agent attraction, I like it because it allows you to open up more opportunity for you and for your group. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is other ways to unlock tiers. So I mentioned already that in order to unlock tiers, you need 5 agents to unlock tier 2, you need 15 to unlock tier 3, you need 20 to unlock tier 4, and 25 producing agents to unlock tier 5. We recently introduced 2 other ways where you can unlock more tiers. All right. So the first is through capping and elite agent status. And so when you hit your full cap, a 12K cap, you actually unlock tiers 1 through 3 for the remainder of that anniversary year. So if you start, we're just going to say in January, because that's easy math for me, and you cap in February, right? You join in January, you cap in February. You would then unlock tiers 1, which is already unlocked, but 2 and 3 for the remainder of the year until December. Really cool. Okay. You join in January, you cap in February. Say you hit elite agent status in June. You then unlock tiers 4 and 5 for the remainder of the year through December. So capping unlocks tiers 2 and 3, and then elite agent status unlocks tiers 4 and 5. And so this is really designed to help to benefit like team leads or people that are really focused on production that may not be able to go out and attract 25 people right off the bat, right? And so if you have a large group, it would allow you to be able to collect revenue share from that. Okay. The other way that you can unlock additional tiers is through network sizes. And so, as I said before, 15 people unlock tier 3, but if you have a network of 750 people or more, that would also unlock tiers 2 and 3. And then once you have a network of 1,000 people, that unlocks tier 4, and then 1,500 people unlock tier 5. And so that, as long as you stay at that number or above that number, all of those tiers would remain unlocked. So it's less of how many people you have, right, on that 25 plus, and you more supporting your network. And so this is designed to allow people that are attracting a lot of people to the company to be able to pour into their networks more and not necessarily worry as much about how many people they're bringing on directly. Because if you have 1,000 people in your group, chances are, or 1,500 people in your group, chances are you probably have a decent amount of tier 1s. And like with that comes a lot of tier 2s and tier 3s and tier 4s. And like at that point in time, you probably are spending a little bit more time on agent attraction and also supporting your network than if you have a network of 5 people. So again, these are just the things that Real took into account of like, hey, there are people that once you get to that network size, like you probably shouldn't be going out and attracting as many individual agents and tier 1s. You should probably be focusing in on supporting your group and retention and everything like that. So 2 different ways to unlock tiers other than just bringing on more people directly. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the fees that are associated with revenue share. And so there are a couple fees that are associated with it in order to ensure that things are processed as well as it continues to remain sustainable. So there's $175 annual participation fee. And so if you collect any amount of revenue share, there's a $175 annual participation fee that's deducted from your first rev share check every single year. And it's shown in reZEN. There's a little, when you see like your gross payment, then it'll say like, revenue share participation fee of $175. And then there's also on your second check up to your 12th check of the year, there's a 1.2% processing fee on all payouts. And that's also shown in the app as far as a little breakdown there of the fees. Another benefit to attracting agents to the company is also that you can get stock shares. And so I mentioned this in my Real Explained video, but when you attract an agent to the company and they close their first deal, you get a few shares of stock. And so if you're on a 12K cap and someone closes their first deal, you get 75 shares of stock. And so it doesn't necessarily seem like much, but like as you bring on more and more agents to the company, you'll see these dropping, into your ShareWorks account every so often. So it's kind of fun. And then a few things have been added in as far as the revenue share program over the years. And so the first one that I want to talk about is real retirement. It basically allows you to like step out of active real estate production to continue to receive income from your network. Okay. And so I like this because it provides like financial security for the long term, right? Like I don't think this is something that you would do like next week, but basically once you have worked at Real for at least 3 years, you've been at Real for at least 3 years, you're able to step out of production and continue to receive 60% of your revenue share for life, right? After 4 years, and you've been producing agent for 4 years, you could keep 80% of your revenue share for life. And then after 5 years, you can completely step out of production. They remove that production requirement and you can still receive 100% of your revenue share in perpetuity. So I think that this is kind of cool. Again, if you are looking to retire, you do need to keep your license active. But once you've produced for 3 years, you get that 60%, 4 years is 80%. And after 5 years, you would get 100% of your revenue share. Another thing that I think is pretty cool is the willable revenue share. And so how this works is basically if you pass away, you're able to name a beneficiary for your revenue share in the app. So in reZEN, you're able to click the little thing and add a beneficiary. So this is something that you should do, as soon as you're joining the company, so that if at any point in time something were to happen, it would already be set up in the system. But this is something cool that is very beneficial, if something were to happen. So that is kind of an overview of the program. I think that there is a lot of benefit to revenue share. And everyone talks about this. And when you look up videos about Real and about other cloud-based brokerages that have revenue share programs, this is probably like the most talked about thing. But here's the fact of the matter is at most companies, only about 8 to 13% of agents actually collect any revenue share from the company, right? And so I don't want this to be the thing that is selling you on why you should join Real or why you should be here, but it's definitely a benefit. Almost every single agent on my team, I have 5 agents on my team, have brought over another agent. And so whether that's someone that's joining our team or someone they met at a conference or someone they met at an event, they've brought over a few agents. And so what's really cool about that is that's a few $1,000s per year extra that they're able to make. And so that was something for me as a team lead that I realized that I wouldn't be able to offer, right? Like we had tried like, hey, if you refer someone to the team, we'll give you like $500 off their first deal and their 6th deal. And, it never really seemed to work out. And so this is a cool thing that like whether they're joining our team or just joining the brokerage as a whole. And again, like we're in 50 states and across Canada and in DC, and like, they're able to bring on agents that they meet at conferences. They're able to bring over agents that live in other cities, and it is some meaningful income. And so, whether that's a couple grand a year or tens of thousands of dollars a year or more, it's something that, is an actual income source for many people, right? And so I don't want to oversell it. I want to make sure I'm breaking down all of the different fees and what that looks like, but it's something that hopefully this explained it. So if you're ready to take a closer look at Real Let's Talk, schedule a call with me using the link down in the description or click the QR code, and we'll figure out if this is the right fit for you.